Mic on. Here we go. Let's do this. Here we are. It is round of shots on the Sunday night, September 14th, 2025. Kevin Hale here with Buzz. Doc. There you are, Doc. Trevard.
Yeah, I thought I got banned for a second. Was knocking on the door, couldn't get in.
We changed the locks.
Kev, I'm still seeing the countdown.
Are you? Where?
Yep. On my phone. I'm seeing it's circle that says 60 seconds.
On you all don't see me. I'm looking at the show, and we're all live with all of our. We look like 2/3 of the Brady Bunch.
Oh, I don't see. Like it's counting again or something. No,
You're
it's
here. You're here.
I'm hitting the play button and starting to play again and stopping at like 58. I'll just X out of it. There we go.
Okay.
Okay.
There you go. All right. Now that we got Buzz situated, happy Sunday. Hope everyone's doing well. Have a good weekend and all that good stuff. As we wind it down, we'll be talking recap the Kentucky win over Eastern Michigan, the good and not so good. Look at some of the SEC games that happened over the weekend too. There was a couple of good games, and Trevard made a trip to see one of the SEC teams. He'll share his experience. We'll also talk Big Blue Madness, doing something that if they've done this before on this particular day of the week, I don't recall. So we'll talk about that. What's the pluses and minuses of doing that? Davo, how are you? You good?
Doing well. A little sleepy, but we'll get through the hour. No big deal. Everybody
We will. For Buzz, this is the other thing too. I'm consciously shrinking the group, the table, because though I enjoy everyone who's on with us, the more people we have, the longer the show will go. Especially when we got people on here who like to talk. Because I want them to talk. That's why they're here with me. Buzz, how are you?
Boy, you really finessed that, didn't you? And you cut down the number of people because they won't shut up. But
my goal is to end the show around 8:55-ish. Then Buzz gets to wind us down with some stand up.
No, the comedy will come the following week after we end at 8:55. Which will serve as even more incentive to end at 8:55.
Gotcha. Doc is in the house. How are you, Doc? Can you hear me, Doc? Doc?
I mean, come on, Doc.
What's up, Doc? I've been wanting to say that as I've introduced my granddaughter.
There he goes.
There he goes. He's from Trevard. How are you, sir?
Good, you?
Did you switch to your phone, or are you back on your iPad?
Oh, iPad. I turned it upside. Trying to
Okay.
watch it the other way.
This is the slim look.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like wearing a black shirt. Yeah. All right. And the new guy, the new kid. Yeah. What's up, man?
I feel old.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I
Throw
feel
that in our
old,
face.
man. I'm about to graduate college. I feel like my life is like beginning now, and it's scary, man.
Jeez. All right. We've got some lifers here that can give you some advice. Give us a little bit of background on you.
So I'm a student at UK. Going into my senior year. I just started with KY Insider in March, I believe, and I've been there ever since. I'm a Kentucky boy, like Cutter Boley. I'm from 2 hours from here. I was born in Nashville, but I moved to Kentucky when I was like 2 years old. So through and through.
Gotcha. Well, welcome. Glad to have you. Glad to get another youngin's perspective. Some of us grumpy old men need that. I'm old. I'll say it. I'm not far from being young. All right, let's get at it. Yesterday, Eastern Michigan came into Lexington at the Kroger Field. Kentucky won 48-23. Say what you will about we'll go in detail about the game. Is this the Cutter Boley era? Has it officially begun? The ground game, the defense, major concern there. We'll talk good and bad. Let's go. Dave, I'll start with you. Give me something good. What was your good from yesterday's 48-23 win over Eastern Michigan?
You said it. Cutter Bowler looked really well. The running backs did what the running backs have been doing the previous games, just hitting holes really hard and getting a lot of extra yards and being super aggressive. Tight ends was super awesome to see him. I believe like 100, almost 100 yards of his passing yards was the tight end, so that was awesome. It was really cool to see him air it out and see what could be with a passing game that actually works. Other than that, there really isn't a whole lot of stuff to be super excited about.
We'll stay with the positive buzz, no pun intended, as we go to our next guy, Buzz. Give me something good from yesterday.
Did exactly what they needed to do. No matter what you think about the yardage or anything, they needed to have a feel-good win. Boley played well, running game and all that stuff. Yeah, they did exactly what they needed to do. Now can they? And I'm talking about coaching staff. I'm talking about players. I'm talking about everybody. Can they build on that and be ready to go in 2 weeks?
Doc, you're in and out.
I think probably the best thing for me is how South Carolina lost. That at least gives me a little bit of hope for 2 weeks down the line. I know I'm probably thinking a little bit too far ahead, but after the game, I felt a little bit better than I did the week before after the Ole Miss loss. So I think they're moving in the right direction. I think once again the team played hard. I think they are improving, but we won't know until they face some stiffer competition. But I like what I see.
Trevard, what say you? What you got good from yesterday?
The good is we got the W, so that's always good. And say Cutter Bodie, he looked good from throwing within the pocket, so that's always good. And the defense got more turnovers, so you get turnovers on defense. That's always a plus.
All right, there's your positive from the defense. Kai, give me something good from yesterday.
Seth McGowan runs like he's angry at the ground, and I love it. He is
That's a quote, right? From
fifth in the SEC in rushing yards right now, first in the SEC in rushing touchdowns. It's death taxes in Kentucky having a good running back. And Seth McGowan, I mean, he's going to be the guy to lead the offense, if not Cutter Boley, going forward. So, love what he's doing so far.
There you go. Again, to me, the ground game was dominant. McGowan had he went over 100, 3 touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then who was it? Patterson. He had I thought
First
he had a
touchdown.
Yeah, I thought he had a strong game too. The rushing game, look, what was it? 252 yards rushing, 240 yards passing. Definitely some big plays. Tight ends were a factor. Davo, switching back, it was, I don't know if you call it a bounce back game. I guess you can. It was a game that definitely we needed to come out and take it out on this team, Eastern Michigan, who we were 26-point favorites, and for the most part, we stayed true. Well, what was it? What was the score? So the score was
we won by 25.
Won by 25. So yeah, okay. What else did you see from yesterday? What's as we're maybe picking up or getting better from last week?
As far as what else did I see that was positive? Yes. I mean, it's really hard to these dogs, Jesus Christ. They pick a really inopportune time to go crazy. It's really hard to see exactly what we could be moving forward for the rest of the season. But playing a team like Eastern Michigan, having a chance for Cutter Boley to really get his feet wet and get is his opportunities to show what he can do going into a bye week and then playing a South Carolina team that could be a little bit banged up. It sounds like. So you have to be somewhat positive, going into the bye week and going into the South Carolina game until Cutter proves that he's not what we think he is. We have to be positive and moving into that momentum.
Buzz, they kind of like labeled the running game as like this two-man attack, this 1-2 punch of McClelland and Patterson. Did you see what did you see positive from the bounce back after
But you had one of the other two guys get hurt, right? I mean,
yeah.
to give Patterson the chance.
Oh yeah, right.
Here's the thing, and again, all we can do is compare, right? I mean, and while how many rushing yards did they have?
252,
which is less than Eastern Michigan has given up per game, right? Which is less than they gave up last week to an FCS team.
Correct.
Okay, so in terms of comparison, keep that in mind.
That's fair.
I don't know. There are a number of questions. They're like immediate questions, and then they're like long range questions. I mean, I didn't hear the quote myself yet, but apparently Mark said something at the end of the game last night that he still wasn't sure that Boley would be the guy in 2 weeks. Something to that effect. Am I right?
Yeah,
Did I hear that right?
He said he wasn't gonna jump on that decision just yet. He wants to see them both in practice, which I think that's coach talk, though. I mean,
but I mean, you've seen both of them in a game, right? I mean,
right.
You've got game tape on both of them. And so the thing that I would say is there's some areas where they could still use some help. I think all of us would agree with that. And you can't do anything about it now, but could you have gotten some help in some places that would really help you if you didn't spend $750,000 on a guy who's probably not going to play a whole lot going down the road if Cutter Boley continues on this trajectory? And you know what? That didn't used to be part of the equation, but it certainly is now.
Doc, does Boley's performance, do you factor in the fact that it was against Eastern Michigan and not against Ole Miss or an SEC?
Right. The O-line gave him plenty of time, and you're not going to see that in rest of the SEC games. So it really is hard to compare and judge, but still his demeanor out there was positive. He had his gunslinger mentality. I've been fading in and out, so I don't know if anybody had mentioned the explosive plays, but Kentucky evidently had 6 plays of over 20 yards. It was either 6 or 7 plays over 20 yards in that game alone. For the first 2 games, I think they only had maybe 2 or 3 of those. So that was a good sign. You're looking for life. You're looking for a pulse from this receivers room. And anything positive, you have to kind of jump on it from that standpoint.
Trey, piggyback off of it.
I say, as far as him at least getting his week, knowing he's going to start and getting a preparation for the upcoming game, I think they give him some confidence boost for going into the bye week, then keep preparing and getting better than going into the South Carolina week. So as far as that, just give him confidence since I would think it'd be QB1, but I guess they're still battling in practice or whatnot. So for him, just get the confidence and try to get the team behind him. As we're going forward to South Carolina and SEC play.
Staying with the passing game, the tight ends were a big factor yesterday. To me, this is not part of the bad. It's just kind of staying with where the narrative right now we're talking is that Kendrick Law, we got to get him touches. Yes. I mean, is he he's the most dynamic offensive player on this team, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've been trying to remedy that. I mean, to everybody, and he's had 2 touchdowns the past 2 weeks. They've just not gone in his favor. So Can't really do anything about that.
If he touched it more, would he have more? But that's a hypothetical. But I'm still a little concerned because I just don't think. I'm nitpicking here, but against Eastern Michigan, I just felt like the receivers should have been had a lot more touches, and maybe I'm missing some here, but
they've got to create separation, Kev.
Well, yeah, that's where I'm going. Is this player? Is this the plays? Is it execution or is it the play call? I don't know. I mean, but talk to me. What do y'all think?
I think it's more of the whole chemistry aspect, because you throw Cutter out there and you know that he's roommates with one of the tight ends and you know that he's got this relationship. So it's like, obviously that is going to weigh more in a game rather than some guy you're just throwing to in practice every day. So
that's fair.
I mean, that's a part of it, but I also think maybe more of its scheme, like throwing to a tight end is a safeguard in any level of football. So, I mean, if he's checking it down, making a big play to a tight end, I mean, it's going to be easy completion, I mean, is what it feels like. And maybe the receivers can feed off of that in South Carolina.
Or is it that the tight ends are just better than the wide receivers this year? I mean, honestly, like three of his passing plays of over 20 plus yards was two of them was a Caddis and one was to Willie.
Right.
So I would
go ahead, Trey.
I would say if the tight end is open, might as well just give him the ball since he's more closer to the quarterback as far as the receivers, more on the outside.
Bowley's stat line, 12 of 21. So, yeah, though he had a good day, he only completed 12 passes. And maybe now I'm realizing that, that it's not like.
Go ahead, say it.
Go ahead.
He had two of them called back, 2 touchdowns called back.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And he missed a few throws also. There were a couple plays where he just missed it. But I want to kind of piggyback off of something that Buzz had said earlier. I want to bring this up to the panel and see what you think. I don't think this is at the level of a quarterback controversy yet. But do you think that the alleged $750,000 that they're paying Calzada plays into any of the decision-making by Stoops? Does he feel pressure to play somebody just because he knows that they paid him a lot of money? He wants to get return on investment.
I'd say 100%, because I mean, you promise when you recruit Calzada to play his 7th year of college football, you're telling him, yeah, you're going to be a starter. Yeah, we're giving you this, blah, blah, blah. You promise all these things, and then now you're 3 weeks in and it's down the tube because everybody loves Cutter Bowley and nobody likes that Calzada. So, I mean, it's tough. It has to weigh on Stoops a little bit, I would think.
I mean, tell me that a coach did not bring a quarterback in and promised him the starting position.
I mean, I'd say so. If with all that experience, knowing he's been in the SEC, I think he's guaranteed starter when you're.
I would say you bring a player.
Kevin, there's a big
amount of money
somewhere in the line. Do you guys hear that? Big staticky noise somewhere in the line from somebody.
You were staticky when you were just talking. How am I? Is the static coming on my end?
Yes,
it is. I could be just everyone's connection or my connection.
I mean, come on, let's upgrade it over there. I mean, this is a show that's taken off. Let's upgrade and get the premium Wi-Fi package. Okay.
I've got my AT&T is 1,000. Anyways, all right. Audience, if you're hearing the static, I mean, I could try to reboot and see, but that's going to take us off.
I don't know where it's coming from. I'm just saying it's there. But anyway,
I know you sound kind of staticky, Dave.
Yeah, you do, Dave. Buzz.
I mean, I'll
Doc, speak.
Yeah, maybe it's your connection, Dave.
Well, you never know.
Did we just lose our host?
Guess so, guys.
No. Okay.
There he is.
All right. I just hit reset, so I don't hear the static now.
No.
Maybe it
I think
wasn't.
it was Buzz.
Maybe I need to figure this out. All right, let's go. Let's go with the bad. Davo, that defense. This is one of the few games that I think we can 100% say the offense clearly outplayed the defense, meaning our offense outplayed our defense. It was alarming the way our defense played against what do you call they're not a power five. How do you call them?
Like group of 4, I think. They are
The group of 5 or something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So defensively, issues to me. What say you?
I mean, I really hate to say, talk about, especially the secondary with our boy on here, but I mean, there was really no reason for Eastern Michigan receivers to beat, our corners down the field and get wide open. So that was super frustrating.
They had 290 yards
Yeah.
of total offense in the first half, so they finished with 461. But geez.
And then even on some of the running, they did a lot of what Ole Miss tried to do, or Ole Miss did pretty successfully. Passing the ball out just past the line of scrimmage, and a lot of missed tackles. Right there at the first point of contact, and then after that, they would get 15, 20 yards down the field, and it was just super irritating. I don't know if it's one of those where they're looking past competition, which I don't know why this Kentucky team would look past any competition at this point. But it was that was the most frustrating aspect of it, as far as I know.
Buzz, if you're speak, let's see. We think you're the source of the static. By the way,
Well, was it there when I was gone?
No, and it's here now while you're speaking. You just, why don't you do your upgrades?
Oh, I have done my upgrade. Phone and everything. I mean, just a couple of weeks ago.
Is everyone hearing Buzz the way I'm hearing him?
Yeah, he's frozen on my screen and sounds like a robot.
If it were just me, I would be hearing you when everybody else was talking.
Well, let's try to get through this. Buzz, we're talking about the defense. It was a regression from Ole Miss. Is that your is that a Michael Jackson poster?
Trying to make sure I'm not overmodulated here.
It's Buzz. Buzz, you're gonna have to maybe go on your deck. Doc, give me something. Defense.
Well, I think if you're looking for negatives, yes, the defense is obviously number one, but I think that once again, that bugaboo of that 4-minute stretch before the half was another complete meltdown. Kentucky was up, 28-6. And then within a couple of minutes, it was 28-16. So my proposal is let's go ahead and just shorten the first half to 26 minutes. And then maybe Kentucky can squeeze out a few more victories after that with a shortened half.
We'll see if we can get that rule applied. David.
Aww.
Trevard, as the king of the secondary in Kentucky lore, what was your take on how the defense played yesterday?
I say playing Central Michigan or anybody of that caliber, she should never give up that many yards in the first half.
Yeah.
And 20 points total, so that should never happen. Because
to me it was the second, because I think the defensive line, I think the front 7 played well. It's at our second, what's Dr. Lindley? What would your prescription be?
Only thing I can think of is when you play a team like that, we'll call it a stat game. So try to get your stats up, far as corner be more, get more picks or sit on routes to try to get an interception. But I'm not sure if that was.
Yeah,
like
is that
try to get more
coaching?
picks,
Was that
or-
coaching, or was it lack of motivation?
No. Well, what I'm talking about is has nothing to do with coaching. Just you playing a easier team than you would like a Georgia, so you try to sit on a route, try to get picks or whatnot. So I'm not sure if they was actually playing like that, but they should play a lot more disciplined and a lot better. If I would have to say.
All right, so Kai, what say you about the defense?
I'll remedy what Davo said. I mean, point of contact is everything. I think the front seven's so solid, but if it's 3rd and 4 and you give up a first down, but you had the guy tackled in the backfield, I mean, those little plays cost you everything no matter who you're playing. And then, I mean, what Trevard's saying, you can kind of tell body language. You know, you're not playing a game where it's going to come down to the wire. You're necessarily worried about winning. So maybe there's some chillness and there's not enough grit in the secondary. So I don't want to say it's too much of like we should be dissing them. I think it's just like hey, you have a 2-week period to clean that up and know who your opponent is type of thing.
Buzz, welcome back.
Is that better?
It is.
Very.
Yeah.
I figured it out.
What'd you do?
I was printing something earlier today, so the Wi-Fi from my phone was
eating
connected
up
to the Wi-Fi on the printer instead of the home Wi-Fi. And so that's why it was a bit erratic, and my apologies. But we troubleshot it. See, that's what you do. Like in the end of half, end of game situation, you figure out what's going on, and you play the next play.
Then help us figure out what the defense needs to do after yesterday's performance.
Let's tell Brad White that.
Yeah. What would you tell Brad, Buzz?
Not a darn thing. I mean, it looks pretty simple to me. You just got to tackle. I mean, I think, I'm really trying. I hope you can tell that I'm really trying to rein in my remarks. But
no, I want Buzz Baker.
I know you do. I know
unfiltered.
You do. Yeah, but in this day and age, that's not really healthy.
Well, we'll keep politics and religion out of the talking points tonight.
No, those are important to discuss too. Those are important to discuss too, and people shouldn't duck them. But if you're Brad White, you're playing Eastern Michigan. I don't know what you think about this, Doc. I think you ought to just be able to go man to man, and you should be able to not have to use schemes or twists up front or blitzes. You should have the personnel where somebody like that is not going to get the yardage that they got on your home field. Now, I haven't seen what they call the playlist or whatever to see how many people they were running in and out of there to give guys who had not played as much more playing time. That's certainly a factor. But other than that, you just ought to be able to go mano-a-mano with these dudes.
Yes, and in fairness to White, though, he did have 2 guys, essentially starters out. Waller's been out. I think Nichols was out for most of the game. And he didn't use that as an excuse. He said most of the time when the team screwed up, it was the starters who were in there. But still, that any time that you have to sub, it disrupts the entity within. And so I'll give him a little bit of a break. Let's see what happens in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Well, we all know what Stoops' record is going after a bye week. So,
a nice segue, Davo. Let's segue to that. Well, anything else? I mean, I don't want to harp on. I mean, I think we've kind of legitimately talked about the good and the bad. It is a bye week. It's a week to heal up if that's necessary. But South Carolina in a couple weeks, we know Stoops' history with bye weeks, and we're not going to go heavy into the South Carolina game. But South Carolina, Davo, looks very winnable.
Yeah, but you got to remember that Vanderbilt knocked out Sellers really early, and their backup looked really bad. So, but that's not taken away from the fact that Vanderbilt, I know this is going to sound weird, but they look super elite this year.
They look pretty good.
They're literally
They did pretty well going out and getting a quarterback in the portal, didn't they, Davo?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. And let's not keep bringing up the fact that we're not having the best luck ever since Levis as far as transfer quarterbacks go. But I mean, South Carolina's a super tough place to play in general. But Kentucky's recent success, gives me a little bit of hope playing against them. And I know that Stoops hates Beamer, and Beamer is not a big fan of Stoops. So it ought to be an interesting game. So,
all right, we'll table the South Carolina game for next week. Because actually next week might be because I think I may be able to hit this 8:55 mark, and without a game to recap next week, it could be the Buzz Baker comedy.
Could be.
Yeah,
could be.
Let's talk Trevard. Well, I'll start with you because you made a trip to a game yesterday to watch an SEC team play. Where'd you go?
I went to the Notre Dame and Texas A&M game. So that was a nice little trip. If y'all never been, say Notre Dame is a nice campus. Y'all should go visit. But as far as the game, the atmosphere was nice. And I say Texas A&M fans, they love to travel. So you can actually hear them when their team makes a play. So
that's a good win to me. Going to Notre Dame, it's a good win for A&M and the SEC.
Yeah.
Let's see, Davo, from yesterday's SEC games, what stood out to you?
Tennessee getting beat in the most painful way possible.
Yeah, that was a really good game.
Yeah, fuck them. Who cares? They lost. It's fun.
Buzz, what you? SEC games?
I mean, Kirby Smart is a coaching Jesse. Will Muschamp was not the greatest head coach in the world, and he would tell you that as well. But I mean, man, when we talk about game management and situations and keeping things in front of you and playing through stuff, I mean, I don't know what his record is in one-score games, but I would be very surprised if it's not well north of 500. I mean, you get down in a game like that, I don't know about his fan base, but you can kind of tell that the players, expect to win. And then the other thing was Mike Elko going full WWE. I mean, he threw that chair on the sidelines. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. Mm-hmm. He was chewing. I can't remember whether it was offensive line or what, but I mean, it was a heck of a chair throw.
Heck of a chair. Is it safe to say? Shit, you just said his name. I'm totally
Mike Elko.
No, Georgia's coach. Why am I?
Kirby Smart.
Kirby.
God, he is the guy now, right? As far as coaches, he is the guy in college football.
I mean, it seems to me nationally, and you guys probably watch more national stuff than I do, but it seems like this year, that maybe his talent hasn't been what it's been in the past, and maybe because of that, it seems like all the smart guy pickers have been picking against him. And I mean, they just, listen, they have bad starts. They have rough patches in games, but man, those dudes can adjust, and they have a way of dialing up stuff that their players are really good at executing. And once the thing I like about them too is once they find something that's working, they'll continue pounding it with you until you stop it. And that's always been one of my big deals from coaches in whatever sport at whatever level.
Doc, SEC games, what stood out to you?
Yeah, before I answer, I do have one more question for Trevard. How did the Notre Dame fans treat the opposition? Were they at their throats? Did they welcome them? How did that usually go?
I say where we was at, it was pretty friendly. But I can't say if the whole stadium was like that. So
big Catholic population down there by the border in Southwest Texas, Doc.
No, the only thing that stood out to me was the Tennessee-Georgia game. How in the world does anybody ever want to be a kicker in this day and age? That poor Tennessee kicker, when they showed his face before that kick that he botched, it was deer in the headlights. He didn't want to kick that thing. So I don't know how they managed to just even develop any sort of muscle memory to be able to make that kick. I'd feel like I'd walk out there with a cement boot on my foot. I wouldn't be able to move under that type of pressure.
What else?
You know what made it even sweeter that Tennessee lost? The wedding that I did last night. She graduated last year from Tennessee. She was a cheerleader from Tennessee, so that made it fun. Kind of towards the end of the night, I gave her a hug and I said, "Oh, by the way, I'm sorry." And she just gave me like the finger and then gave me a hug all at the same time. So
Kai, what SEC game stood out for you? Yes, sir.
The Florida LSU game. You have a Heisman hopeful throwing 5 interceptions, and LSU only puts 20 points on the board after those 5 picks. I don't know if y'all saw the video of Brian Kelly absolutely snapping on the sports reporter. Has me scared to ever ask that guy a question if the opportunity arises.
Weren't we just talking about that last week, Kevin?
Yeah, about the media needs to be a little tougher on.
But about the fact that they were oftentimes scared to do that because of situations just like that.
Well, a guy like Kelly clearly probably has power to probably get someone fired, and that's pretty scary.
But I get
it. I get the livelihood. I think Doc, you probably touched on the fact that you got potentially a situation where if you challenge someone with that much clout, they could have a major impact on your livelihood.
It seemed very personal, like
and we don't know if that guy there's an agenda or
right.
He's right though. Like they're 17-1 at home under the lights since he's been there.
Yeah,
and that's the way it's always been. But that when you take that job,
that's one of the marquee jobs in college football. LSU.
Yeah, Kevin, I think there are very few situations where a coach will just snap out of the blue at somebody who's fairly neutral. I think there always has to be a history behind, because literally you should be able to ask a coach anything as long as you ask it in a very, very non-threatening, diplomatic manner. That should be the case, unless there's been some previous bad blood between coach and reporter. I think those things just wouldn't escalate like that. So we never know what the history is between those blow-ups.
And again, he was hot because it was the first question.
It was the very first question. Yeah, which was for me. That was entertainment.
Yeah, coaches know.
I've got one thing for you. I don't want to save it for the final shot because you'd want to talk about it. But I mean, we've talked a lot about Kentucky's troubles at the end of half and at the end of games. It was just ironic to see Liam Cohen and the Jags go for it on 4th down at the end of that Bengals game when a chip shot field goal would have made it 6 points and forced him to go all the way down the field with a backup quarterback. But then after the game, he said every analytic said that was the right call.
Yeah, if they'd have done that, they would have lost by 1. It would have been even more crushing.
Well, I guess what'll happen with those guys is pretty soon we'll be hiring AI stuff to coach, and you won't have to worry about those guys if all they're doing
no.
If all they're doing is going with the analytics, I mean, any of us could do that, right?
Fair.
Sure.
I mean, I could do a show with 5 different AI people and just,
No robot can be like Buzz Baker. Come on, man.
Yeah. No one can replace this table. Trevard, what is to this date probably one of the most Interesting / dumbest questions a reporter's ever asked you after a game.
Said one was Florida when they killed us, but I got to pick that game. And one reporter asked, "How did it feel to pick off Tim Tebow?" In my head, like, I mean, another pick, another quarterback. It wasn't nothing special, but
did you just refer to him? Yeah, I picked off number 15. You didn't even say his name, did you? Because that's who you are.
Tim Tebow is what they call him, but yeah, I thought that was one off the top of my head. I could say that was kind of like, okay, just a quarterback in my mind. But
yeah. Didn't it was a Kentucky game? What was the defensive guy that knocked Tebow out?
Taylor Wyndham.
Taylor Wyndham.
Yeah, there. Yeah, I remember it. All right. Let's 8:43 Buzz. I'm down to really one more main topic and then shots. Final shot.
I understand what you're saying, but that's why we play all 4 quarters. That's why we run not to the whistle, but through the whistle. Because anything can happen at the end of the game.
That's true. All right. Davo, it was announced this past week that Big Blue Madness moving from Friday to Saturday, breaking tradition. Oops. This is a big change. Davo, some of the things I'm seeing why the change, maximizing attendance. It's a football bye week. And I think one of the talking points or takes is that it's kind of a new era with the new vibe of the new coach. What's your take on Big Blue Madness switching to Saturday?
Maybe a controversial, super unpopular take, but the first part is whenever it's like increased attendance and everything, it's free tickets to go see the men's basketball team play in the first place. And right, we talk about all the time, Kentucky's a basketball school first and foremost, and there's always going to be huge amount of fans just going to choose, basketball over football any old way. So I don't think it's a major deal. We're talking about attendance goes as far as like packing out the house. I mean, for God's sakes, they packed out the house and some outside for a press conference. Right. That's just what Kentucky fans do. My unpopular take is Big Blue Madness has kind of lost its, lust. With a lot of people.
How so?
It's just it's not it's just not as fun to me anymore. At least it's cool to see the players, whatever, make the entrances. They run up and down the court for a little bit, dunk, shoot a few threes, and that's it. I mean, kind of like a lot of the theatrics and everything is not what it used to be and stuff, and it's almost like a tease now. You know what I mean? Like, okay, cool, there they are. Okay, let's at least get to the blue-white game and see a little more competition. So, I mean, cool. Like I'm excited to see them out there and kind of see how they mesh a little bit, run around with each other. But it's not a massive deal to me.
Okay, Buzz. Breaking tradition. What's
who actually made the announcement that this was happening?
UK Athletics.
Was it? I thought it was UK Athletics. Unless
did they send out a release?
It was like a social media post with a flyer for it, basically.
Let me see.
I didn't see that. What day did that come out?
I believe yesterday or Friday.
Hold on.
Oh, that's why. Because when you got information that could be in that controversial realm or whatever,
they do it on a Friday at 5 o'clock.
Oh my gosh, Patino was the best at that in the entire world.
It's genius.
Whenever something bad happened when he was here, it would always come out at 5 o'clock on Oaks Day. Honest to goodness. And then, you just miss. But now, that's not as effective because of social media and everything. Mm-hmm. I would say to you all that everything that happens in terms of scheduling now happens, and it's dictated by television. Mm-hmm. So let's see, everybody except Kevin is Well, Doc is probably Doc looks ageless, but he would be old enough. I mean, the reason they started this in
Did you
the
say,
first
wait a minute,
place-
did you say Asian?
No, I did not say Asian.
No, I really thought you said. What did?
I mean, why would I
What-
say Asian?
Oh, I am Asian. So
No,
yeah,
ancient. Ancient. What I'm saying to you is, you and I and Doc are old enough to remember when Madness started.
Yeah.
And the reason they started Madness was because Joe B didn't think they were getting enough preseason pub. And so
And it was
Madness
at
went,
midnight.
that's right. It was midnight the first day you could practice. And so
Midnight madness. Yes.
that was the hook there. And it
Mhm.
never got to the point of, being nationally televised or anything, if you want to call it that, until
That's fair.
the SEC network came along. And that's when Cal was doing everything he could to get everything on TV that he could, the whole gold standard thing and everything. But I mean, there were a lot of great years when they did it at midnight. I remember the year that Patino came in on the motorcycle and all that sort of stuff. But as my good friend Pete Rose would say, if I was a betting man, I would bet that it had something to do with TV. And so I don't know when the NBA schedule starts. Somebody could look it up real quick or something. But, once you get into October, remember ESPN is back in the NBA business this year. And so I just, there was no talk about this in the off season. If you notice, there's been no talk. And if there's been no talk now, unless I missed that on the release as well, there ain't going to be any pro day that's going to be televised, right? I mean, I think it's probably not Mark Pope's cup of tea, but I think probably to a national audience. And I can only guess that ESPN and the SEC network and all those entities have gotten an awful lot of pushback in the last several years about it. Because there are teams that have performed better than Kentucky has, and their practices aren't being televised. And, I can imagine some of that came from Auburn and Alabama and Florida. And so, you've now got all that stuff going on. So I would, to me, it's no big deal. I've always been kind of amazed and surprised from a disappointing standpoint that everybody will just kill you for Big Blue Madness tickets. But you can actually see kind of what's going on when you go watch the blue-white game. Yeah. And the blue-white game's never filled up, is it, Doc? I mean, it's just, you can actually see real basketball there. And I mean, it's not the same. And then the other thing you got now this year is you got those two exhibition games right out of the gate that'll give you a great look that you're getting ready for when you've got Purdue on the 24th of October and Georgetown the following Friday night. So I think that it wasn't, I don't think it was anything internal with anybody trying to change anything. I just think that it wasn't going to be a part of the landscape. And because of that, I think they made a good move. Take it to Saturday when there's no UK football. That's a big time of year. Davo will tell you that. You're starting to come down the stretch for high school football. And so open that Friday night back up.
Doc, your take on the switch. And just real quick, the last time midnight was 2015. I thought it was actually further back, but that's 10 years.
I think it was too. I mean, because at some point in time, the NCAA said you don't have to wait until midnight on the 15th, that you can go to like if the 15th was on a Sunday, you could do it on like Friday or something. I don't know.
Gotcha. Go ahead, Doc.
I don't know any other way to put it other than to say that it's boring. Big Blue Madness is boring. I'll go because I feel obligated to cover it for the media outlet. But if I didn't go, I'd just as soon catch it on the highlights. And I'm not quite sure why people still continue to go. I think most of it is due to tradition. There's a myth out there that you can't get any basketball tickets. You can't get into Rupp Arena. You can. The past few years, there are plenty of seats available. But I think there's still this myth out there that the only way to really see the team is to catch them at Big Blue Madness. So tickets are free, supposedly. So that's why they go so quickly. Uh, I think also, and this isn't meant to be controversial. I love women's basketball. In fact, I probably almost enjoy covering the women more than I do the men. But since they combined it, it's almost like this prelude. There's nothing to look forward to. Once Matthew Mitchell and his dances were out of there, it's almost like, let's get the show on the road. You know, it drags it out way too much. There's too much waiting time until the main event comes on. So, you know, if it were up to me, if I were the grand poobah, I would axe it. I would find something else that would be far, far better and more entertaining, because I'm yawning even as I'm sitting here talking about it, thinking about how boring it's going to be.
Doc, let me add one other thing to what you just said. And guys, this has always been one of my great frustrations. You know, we get we get all kinds of calls about people with tickets and everything, and you know, it's like like, for instance, people are busting me all the time about having those good seats down there. Listen, I do the first part of the pregame show in the back. I do the last part of the pregame show out at courtside. And then I can either go stand in the corner like I do a lot of times. I can go up top to the upper level and watch where the other media people are, or I can go in the back room and watch it on the TV. But you hear folks saying all the time, I don't care. Get me tickets. It doesn't make any difference when it is. I'll be there. And I will tell you that what that means, that is fan speak for, if you can get me 2 really good lower arena tickets on a Saturday afternoon against a really good opponent, and I don't have anything else going on, then I'll come. And I mean, that's what it means, because Doc or anybody else who happens to come across tickets, I've had people, within the last hour before a game or last couple of hours say, hey, I had a couple of extras come over. And I mean, sometimes they're difficult to find homes for, even though you can transfer them electronically now.
Yeah, I've had instances in which I couldn't give them away, and relatively good seats against decent competition. I mean, it wasn't U of L. It's not going to be Indiana. It's not going to be North Carolina, but they were teams worth watching. So it's disappointing because it wasn't always like that. And I go out of my way. I go out of my way not to sound like the old man saying, get off my lawn. But back in the olden days, they really were like Willy Wonka's golden tickets. You got a couple of Duke cats that watch Kentucky play basketball.
That's right.
You were golden.
How many kids do you actually chase off your lawn per week? I bet the number is pretty high.
None, since I've downsized. I'm in apartment living right now, right? If my light bulb goes out, I can call somebody. This is wonderful. I should have done this 30 years ago.
Trust me.
I was getting ready to say, this was the grass thing the reason you got out. But when you had grass, I bet the over-under was easily 6 kids a week.
No, if I had a blade of grass, I was very, very particular about the cut of my lawn. It had to be certain width. It had to be. I'm an orthodontist. Things have to be straight. Everything has to be in order.
Did you do the cross cut?
I did.
And it would be timed. You're a cross cut guy. I can see it on your face.
I appreciate you, Doc. I know where you're coming from. Yes. And I've been
kids too?
No, I've done the apartment life since my divorce, 2007, and I will never look back. Again, to Doc's point, if a light bulb goes out, they will come and change it for me. I mean, that's just, it's stress free. It is just something in my life that's a big part of my life. My living space is that I don't have to worry about anything. Appliances.
If you don't have kids and you've got the money, Rick Majerus actually had the right idea with living in a hotel room.
There you go. Trevard, Big Blue Madness, does that mean something to you?
I mean, not really, since I never really watched it.
But as when you were being recruited, did you attend Big Blue Madness? Was that something that you got to attend as a, maybe as a recruit or just, as from a player perspective? Did you?
I'm sure some people do, but I came in January, so obviously it wasn't Big Blue Madness. I just came to a regular basketball game when I came up.
Gotcha.
Tim, that is a good point. If it's a home football game weekend,
that's
and
where
you
I'm
got
going.
Something going on,
that's where I'm going. Yes,
that can be a nice accompaniment.
Huge recruiting for football, and that's where I'm going. Is that how can big picture? Let's not be selfish. It's yes, basketball is king here, but what does Madness do for other sports, for other sports programs? What could it do?
It can bring. Obviously, it can bring in players who wants to come here, and if you like college basketball, or if I know a lot of players are a fan of different basketball games, basketball team besides Kentucky. So if you're a Kentucky fan and love Kentucky basketball, you go to that. That could be a big.
Well, I mean,
in the past, it would do something, Kevin. It doesn't do anything now.
Okay, no, that's fair.
Because it's all about the check. It's
about that. If anything, it would remind Trevard, if he came in for Big Blue Madness, that you're not you're not part of the program that's the top program in the school. That's a reminder. Wow. You'll be number 2 at best. Kai, you're the kid. You still appreciate probably Big Blue Madness, right?
Yeah, I'll be the minority here. I mean, it's still the go-to tradition that every Kentucky fan has to go to. And like in this past 400, 500 some days that Mark Pope has been the coach, it feels like he's doing everything big and making it his own style. And like last year's attraction was him and Kenny coming in as the new coaches and turning the programs around. So I'm imagining that this year there's going to be something extravagant that you all are alluding to that needs to happen to quit everyone from yawning and all this stuff. I mean, I still think it's cool, and I still think it's.
You bring up something. I'm sorry to cut you off. How much does the head coach have a say in this, guys?
Complete.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean, my point is that it's such an event now where how much does the SEC network dictate now, since it's live, at 9 o'clock or whatever, 7 o'clock it start, whatever. Go ahead.
I'd imagine it's like an idea proposition. You'd be like, I want to do this, and then
but that's what I'm saying.
Name has
just
some weight.
An idea, or does he really have say in the?
I mean, I guess, but if Mark Pope wants to do something, I mean, how are you going to be the guy who wants to say no? Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Did they say on this release what time this was?
Help me out. You guys help me out.
I got you. I got it on social media.
All right.
It is Saturday, October 11th, and it does not have a time. It just says save the date.
Yeah, they could go earlier in the day, because I will tell you now, it's not night or anything, but I will tell you the toughest tickets now, and I think Doc will agree with me on this, are those Saturday afternoon games. People love the Saturday afternoon games. If they're from out in the state, they can get the tickets. They can plan a trip to Lexington. They can stay. They can go out for a nice dinner or whatever. And if you're not up against football or anything, and I haven't talked to anybody about UK about this, but I mean, they could certainly go ahead and do something earlier than 7 o'clock or 9 p.m. or something on a Saturday night. So it'll be interesting to see what they do there.
That's fair.
I'd love for it to be old school. See some people camping out and going late and making it this spectacle again. I believe it can be a thing, but
I think you're right, but that camping out thing is done. That ain't ever happening again.
You don't think so? Never.
They got no parking over there. I mean, that's the reason it stopped anyway, because they started building. They used to camp across the street where they got those big dorms now, and so
they're running out of space. Parking is hell on earth. I mean, there's quadruple the amount of cars for parking spaces on campus. So, like, I don't know how people still deal with that crap. because I did.
And what's going to happen
it.
when they move the new athletic facilities over there on South Campus next to football and baseball?
And they got the district over there by the football field as well. That's going
right.
to take out 100 of them.
And that's going to take football parking.
Yeah.
I see what you're doing here, Buzz. You're extending this topic so I don't get to finish the show early enough to get the comedy.
Well, that was gone 5 minutes ago. I mean,
Right,
I'm just here as a contributor.
I know. I got it.
Can I ask you a question? But I'll save this for the final shot. Go ahead.
All right. Good stuff. I think we got past there, or looking ahead to next week. It is a bye week, and I'll see how I'll have to figure out how we'll do the show. But I'll still do one. And Dave, I'm going to talk to you. Do we want to start spaces up again?
I'm fine with it. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, we'll talk.
I think next week should be like a listener question type show, just freestyle.
Oh,
great idea.
Yeah, we can do that. Put ask Buzz and Doc and everyone anything.
Freestyle.
Yeah. All right, let's do this. Final shots, and then we're out. Dave, I'll start with you. What you got for me?
Yeah. I think, us as a country and us as a world in general, as people, we need to really understand what it is to come together and learn compassion. Obviously, after all the events that has occurred, not only a few days ago, but just over the last few years, wish we can all just learn how to come together and learn how to disagree the right way, and stop, hurting each other. There's like I said, there's ways to disagree, and then there's other ways to disagree and make unnecessary life choices like killing somebody because you don't agree with them. So just love on each other, love your neighbor. That's what he calls for. So.
I'm all for that. Good stuff. All right. I'll say Buzz for that. Kai, give me your final shot.
Final shot. I'll just remedy what Davo said, and just Jesus is the way. Jesus loves you no matter what, and there's always a right path in life to go down, and there's no need to choose hatred. So I just want to continue to let everyone know that Jesus is the truth, and if you ever need anything, that's your number one source.
Amen.
Trey, final shot, sir.
Final shot, I guess, as far as football, that could have get all the, I guess, majority of the reps during this week practice, and as far as football team, just work on fundamentals, getting back to the things that coach has been preaching on, and take care of South Carolina when that week comes.
I'm all for that. Man, you need to. I think the secondary needs to have you on their speed dial. Just saying. All right, Doc. Final shot.
My final shot is a shout out to Kentucky volleyball team. They had two big comeback wins this weekend. If you remember, they had gotten swept up at Pitt the previous match. And I was at the match on Saturday against 10th ranked SMU. They lost the first set, so they had lost 4 sets in a row. They started the second set down something like 5-1. They were rolling in the wrong direction, weaving around on that canvas like they were get ready to be knocked out. And then they just made a couple of defensive plays, which kind of translated into a lot of energy in the building. Their offense got rolling, and they were able to win the match fairly easily from that time on. It just reminded me of a metaphor for life, that it doesn't matter how bad off you are. Your backs are against the wall. Your life looks like it's in the pits. Just hang in there. Just stick with it. Things can turn on a dime, just like momentum in a volleyball match. Things can turn around, and before you know it, you could be hoisting that trophy. So do what Jim Valvano said in an SB speech. You just said, never give up, never, ever give up.
That's why they call him Doctor.
Buzz, final shot, sir.
I'm gonna echo what what Davo said big time.
Right.
I mean, regardless of what you think about people or their views or whatever, I mean, Charlie Kirk was not a guy that was making policy. He was not a guy that had the potential to get us involved in some sort of world war or, doing anything to people's lives. He went out there and he talked on college campuses. And I mean, one of the greatest things, now Doc is old enough to remember this, and so is Kevin. I mean, one of the great incubators of discussion, at least in my lifetime, has been on college campuses.
Yeah.
And I mean, it led to a very unsettled period of our history, and especially in 1968, and then with Kent State in 1970. But what in the prevailing stuff that's there that caused this is saddening enough. But then it doesn't take you very long to go through social media to see some of the things that happened afterwards and were said.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, where is this coming from? And I mean, it's like, I never heard the guy, and I didn't listen to him a lot, but I researched a lot after all this happened. And I mean, he never failed to mention his relationship with Christ and about how this is where it needs to be sent. And everybody's got their own center point. Okay. I get that. And I'm not knocking anybody for whatever that is. But I mean, it was never what people said hate filled. I mean, if you don't agree with something somebody says, it doesn't have to be hate filled. But I just wish so much, because like things like this, we might disagree about how the football. I mean, that's what America has been. That is what you had when back in the Revolutionary War days. You'd have somebody standing up on a box in the middle of town square, and they would take turns talking about things. And it's when Lincoln and Douglas were both running for president, and they barnstormed the country on the same blooming train. I mean, we don't have to be, and I just wish more than anything I could figure out what it is that gets a person to that point. And at the end of the day, this guy is a son, a husband, a father, and the 1-year-old will never know his dad.
Yeah.
And at some point in time, those kids will be exposed to what happened. And I saw something from Ben Shapiro, who's another conservative guy. He's different from Kirk. They're not the same person, but he said he had security for 10 years. And
He's had to.
Kirk knew what he was going into.
Yeah,
he was wearing a vest.
Yeah.
And is it to the point where you have to wear a vest on a college campus? So whatever your all's, for me, it's prayer. And it's God and it's Jesus Christ, but whatever your moral compass is, I would just urge you all to just lean into it. And in this in this world, I mean, and it doesn't have to be 100% agreement, but I mean, there's got to be something there. And so I would just urge you all to do that. And then the thing I really wanted to talk about. So we've talked a lot about coming over and doing a show in Frankfurt. What I want to know is, can we come and be the wedding crashers at one of Davo's gigs? And so we'll
don't even ask the question. That's where you're wrong. We don't ask it. We just do it.
We'll have these people who are there. It's like, who are these folks? Which side of the family are they on? And I was thinking about this last night because we were at a wedding over in Louisville, and the folks did a nice job. Great couple and everything, but I was thinking, man, Davo would have this thing rocking.
How was the DJ? Did he suck? Be honest. That's okay.
You don't have to be nice.
Do you prefer?
Would not have been my playlist, but I mean, he played it straight and was very professional.
In fairness, do you choose? And I asked Dave, I'm not trying to put, because I think DJs is great because it gives, you're playing specific music. Is it? Do you prefer Dave, Buzz, you've had recent daughters.
Yes.
Do you prefer a DJ or do you prefer a live band?
One daughter had a very small, the one daughter, after I tried to talk her into it, she came to her own conclusion, said, I should have listened to you and just eloped. It was a very small affair. And I want to say they had the string trio there or something. And then the older daughter, she just decided to work herself to the bone. And they had a live band there. And some of you guys might have heard them. They're a group from over in Louisville called I-64 West. And she works in an emergency room, and the guy who leads the band is like a medical supply salesman or something, and that's how they met. But I always think if you can go with if you can't get Davo, then you got to go live band with horns and a female lead. That's what you got to do.
I've worked with a live band before. Like, we kind of coexisted.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I like that too. That's a nice. Okay.
I think horns just complete the live band.
So I'll sell just real quick. I'll sell myself in my profession real quick. With a DJ, you can, and I really hate saying this, but you almost can treat us as a jukebox, right? There's so many different things we can play, right? A live band can play a lot of covers and so on. But eventually they're going to run out of what they know, right? So that's a DJ,
correct. That's a great point.
As a DJ, you have from here all the way up to whatever your imagination is, especially with streaming nowadays, right?
Yeah.
So I would always suggest you go with a DJ. Now, you can always have a band for cocktail hour and kind of dinner or whatever, and then let the DJ bring the party. Yeah. But to each their own. If anybody ever out there getting married at any time, hit me up. I would love to discuss business.
But Davo, what a jukebox can't do is
that is true.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. You got to make sure it's a live DJ.
Yes.
Because before long, it'll just be people be booking the AI DJ.
No. Because you got to have the good MC skills.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Skills.
So I want you to pick out a good one for us.
Let me look. I got like 18 more to end the year.
I'll see now. You can find one there where we can just kind of slip in, and we'll just find a table in the back.
Let me totally manipulate David or Davo and get his schedule, and that's a great idea. We just show up.
One.
Yeah.
I could, because it'd be worth it to not only see Davo's face, but I could only imagine what kind of outfit Doc would come up with to come strolling in there.
He is
already planning it. Already planning for it.
Yay. I love that idea. All right.
Hey, man, it's David. So we got to have one of the Louisville Pants DJs to get you guys in there and bring some class to the party with some blue and white instead of red and black.
Well, dude, class, I don't know.
The thing I was at last night, they're both huge Louisville fans. It was on the U of L campus. I had to take medication before I went. And the father of the bride was on his phone watching the Ohio State game, for crying out loud.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Right? But they're a beautiful couple, and we're happy for them.
The final words of the night, Lord have mercy. Yeah, there you go. To echo, and I just, my quick final shot, or just, everyone, what you all are saying about where we are in this world, society, I have to admit, man, a few years ago, I would say I was concerned about how the world was going to look like for my grandkids. Now, today, I'm concerned what the fucking world's going to look like for me, for us, present company. It's scary, but we have to keep talking. We have to figure a way that social, the whole where I could, I don't want.
Keep talking, keep living your life, and live your life in no fear, because the Lord is with you at all times. That's it.
Amen.
Yeah. All right, guys. Round of shots finishing up on the Sunday night. Kai, thanks for coming in. The new guy.
Sir. Thanks for having me.
Yes. We'll do it again. Everyone have a good week. It's a bye week. We'll be back next week. We'll figure out what we'll do. For the panel, we appreciate everyone in the chat. Have a good week, and go Cats, right? Peace out.
Love you, boys. Be good.
Right. See you. Thanks, guys.